Hey everybody, John Randine with you, and this is another installment of Fight News Now Extra. Robin Black will join me to chat about the day's events. And the news today, Montreal loses its main event. A tough winner has a date with a former King of Pancrase, and former UFC heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar reveals his future. UFC 186 has taken a huge blow as bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw has suffered an apparent rib injury while training and has been forced to withdraw from his rematch with Brazilian Renan Barão. It is unknown if the former champion Barão will remain on the card or if he will wait for Dillashaw to heal. The event is scheduled for April 25th at the Bell Center in Montreal and will now feature Demetrius Johnson in the main event against Kyoji Horiguchi for the flyweight title. After suffering his first career loss, Ultimate Fighter winner Kelvin Gastelum will move up to 185 pounds to challenge the highly skilled and incredibly experienced Nate Marquardt. The two have agreed to meet at UFC 188, which will go down on June 13th at the Mexico City Arena. The event will be headlined by the heavyweight unification bout between reigning champion Cain Velasquez and interim king Fabricio Werdum. The two former lightweight champions will also lock horns as Eddie Alvarez meets Gilbert Melendez. Wrestling fans can rest a little bit better knowing that Brock Lesnar will not be going anywhere. The former UFC heavyweight champion has signed a contract extension with entertainment powerhouse WWE. The former NCAA wrestling champion felt that his head wasn't in the game and he wanted to do something fun as a career. It is a terrible loss for mixed martial arts fans around the world. Don't forget to tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern for our official preview show. Join John Pollock, Robin Black, and I as we break down all of the main card action, including the main event between Chad Mendes and Ricardo Lamas. And then keep it locked here at 11 a.m. for the preliminary card. Gray Maynard in action as well. Liz Carmouche, who challenged for the female bantamweight title. Happy to be joined by Mr. Robin Black. Lots of stuff going on in the world of mixed martial arts. Sad day. Brock Lesnar decided to stay with the WWE instead of pursuing a career in mixed martial arts, which really is a shame considering, you know, he had limited experience, he had limited time to train, and look at everything he accomplished. Arguably has become the biggest star in mixed martial arts. Everybody wants to watch this guy compete. He also became the heavyweight champion, defeating one of the greatest fighters in the history of the game in Randy Couture. Just an anomaly.
Yeah, that's undeniable. I mean, if you said, Robin, it's a sad day, blank decided to stay in the WWE, I'd say good riddance, you know? Except for this guy actually was so legit. Coach Mike Reardon is a great wrestling analyst, and he unearthed some footage of Brock Lesnar doing something, the Wheel of Death.
Oh,
this is from some real like collegiate wrestling, and this 275-pound man is going onto his hands to flip guys around. This was the elite of the elite in amateur wrestling, and he became the elite of the elite in converted wrestlers, becoming pro MMA fighters, heavyweight champion of the world.
He said his head's not in the game, and if your head's not in this game, this is the game of getting hurt, so it makes sense that he would do something where he's like, you know what, I don't have to put all of my eggs in this basket. And we talk about the mental game. You and I were talking about Anthony Showtime Pettis saying, no longer am I fighting on a card that features Sergio Pettis. There was too much going on. He said, I don't know if it really affected my performance, but it might have affected my performance. Said watching him get knocked out was traumatizing.
Anthony is able to tell the truth on that without making it an excuse, and that's cool. That's very well done, because the truth is it could be an effect, and he did not make an excuse out of it. But there's real science in this. Have you ever felt terrible when your team loses?
Yeah.
That's just your team. They wear the colors of your town. And there's real science there. That feeling of despair can be your testosterone level actually temporarily dropping and your cortisol level going up. The hormones that make you are affected by watching your team lose. That's amplified by a lot if it's a close friend, a training partner, a family member. That's real. Yeah. So good idea, man. I mean, on the other hand, if Sergio went out there and just dominated this guy like we had seen him do in the past, he's looked phenomenal successful in the past, that can carry over. But do you want to really
That's
roll
what
the
Anthony
dice?
said. He said that. He said, you know, when Sergio won, it was great. We all felt it, but as soon as that happened, it was a complete shift, and a shift that is not, he said, it has to be all about him. He said, our training camps, he said, I can't be just also focused on Sergio and the rest of the team. It has to be all about me if I want to become the best fighter once again at 155 pounds.
And that is what it's all about. You have to be selfish, and that goes for your wife or your girlfriend or your friends or your family. When you're doing 8 and 10 week training camp, we've heard about people, good family men who love their wife and love their kids, and they're like, I just have to leave. I leave for 6 weeks. I leave for 8 weeks, because the greatest things in your life, you know, going home and seeing your wife who says, how was your day, and giving her a hug that in the rest of your life is great, is, they'll say it, a distraction. I don't know how the best things in your life can become a distraction, but you know it when you're doing it. When you're so primarily focused on one goal, everything else is a distraction. So you have to be selfish. It's a selfish game.
TJ Dillashaw out of action. UFC 186 in Montreal now has DJ Demetrius Johnson, Kyoji Horiguchi as its main event, the 125-pound championship on the line. There's questions if Rampage is going to be on this show or not, and I think a lot of people say, yeah, Michael Bisping's good, but his opponent's CB Dollaway, he's good too, but is this a marquee matchup? And a lot of interest kind of waning because of TJ Dillashaw off of this card with, in this matchup with Barao, possibly postponed for the future.
Well, the card made a lot of sense when you had 2 big headliners and Rampage and Bisping, who's beloved in Canada to a certain degree, and then a bunch of young, up-and-coming Canadians that we've watched on The Ultimate Fighter and we've seen develop. That's a perfect recipe. But you take out one of the huge blocks, and that is that co-feature, and all of a sudden, the undercard, instead of being awesome, we'll get to see these young athletes compete, it's like, well, we don't know these guys that much. So hopefully they add something to that card.
Would you expect that, I would imagine the UFC is going to try their best to add something of value to that main card, but I would not be surprised if they took the fight between Sarah Kaufman and Alexis Davis, which is on the undercard, moved that fight to the main card, because the first fight they had was a hell of a fight. These girls smashed each other, and it affects the 135-pound division. Ronda Rousey's the queen of it.
It is a hell of a great matchup. It's a hell of a great martial arts competition. I don't know if the star power is there. I don't care about that kind of stuff, but we know we got to sell tickets too.
That is it for us. Don't go anywhere. More Fight News Now Extra is still coming your way.